Matthew chapter number 14, verses number 13 and 14. When Jesus heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the cities. And Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude, and was moved with compassion towards them, and he healed their sick. We find here in verse number 13, when Jesus heard about the death of John the Baptist, he immediately left the area. Now, some people may draw a conclusion and say that Yeshua was afraid and he left. And no, it wasn't that. If we go back and look in Matthew, the 4th chapter, verse number 12. Now, when Jesus had heard that John was cast into prison, he departed into Galilee. So, Christ was departing because he more than likely knew it was not his time to be locked up. It was not his time to be killed. He knew that he had a mission that was time sensitive. And he couldn't go in front of the timing of God. Neither could he go after the timing of God. So he removed himself out of situations that might put him in the wrong time. So that's why we can say he really wasn't afraid, because he actually, in one place, he said, said Herod looks for him. He said, go tell that fox, I walk today and I walk tomorrow, but it's not meant for a prophet to be killed, except for in Jerusalem. In other words, he told him at that point, he wasn't afraid. It's just that he had a timing. Now, so we see where Christ had departed thence into a ship, into a desert place. No water, probably no vegetation, crops. More than likely, he was trying to get away, trying to get the disciples to somewhere, maybe to recline from hard ministry. Because you have to remember, the very chapter that we just left, the 13th chapter, is probably the longest chapter of Jesus preaching. You remember, he went through the 7 parables about the kingdom of God. So that was a lot of preaching. And when you go through preaching to that extent, you definitely need to slow down, recharge the batteries. But it says when the people heard him, they came out to meet him. So the people left the city. This is an illustration of ancient Jerusalem. And you can see here's the temple, and here we are, the housing, the residence, and you can see the wall around the city. You can see the valley. You can see the bridge that comes across. So you can see people left the confines of a city to come out here to hear preaching. That is amazing. And not only did they come out there to hear his preaching, the scriptures tells us where he healed their sick. You see, Christ just did not speak only. He demonstrated the kingdom of God. You see, the kingdom of God is much more effective when we demonstrate it along with our preaching. Because anyone can get up and say a bunch of words, but when the Lord confirms it with unmistakable signs and wonder, that's when it's of God. God, we bless your name and give you glory and give you honor. Thank God.